sages, they were very eager. Right, they were very eager to hear about more and more about the narration between Shukadev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So Sita Goswami was telling that even Parikshit Maharaj, after hearing from Shukadev Goswami, he was so much convinced. Right, he accepted him as a spiritual master. He focused his mind and he wanted to ask many, and then he makes further inquiries. Right. So we will understand in this chapter, the 4th chapter, the process of creation. I will be covering 4 verses, 1 to 4. Let's simple it is. Only is that we understand how Parikshit Maharaj, understanding that he concentrates his mind on Krishna, and before that he detaches himself from all the material things and inquires from Shukadev Goswami. So Srila Prabhupada in his purport very beautifully he has said how we should detach ourselves, the process of detachment from this material world, how we can focus our mind in the prescribed, what is prescribed for us is the Kalika. I think Padma Mataji can. Yeah. So we go on with the first verse. Yes, Divya Mataji, you can recite.
Thank you, Mataji. Suta uvacha Vayashakeriti vachas tattva nischayam atmanaha upadharya matim Krishne auttareya satim vyadhat. Shall I read the translation also, Mataji?
I'll give other Mataji.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranams.
Prashanti Mataji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation by Prabhupada ki Jai. Suta Goswami said, Maharaja Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sukadev Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration faithfully upon Lord Krishna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The word Satim.
That's enough, Mataji, the translation.
Yeah,
okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here he says, Suta Goswami is telling that Shukadev Goswami speeches, right? Shukadev Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, right? The Vyasadeva who is the compiler of the various scriptures. So you see that when Parikshit Maharaj is addressed here in the last line, see Uttareya, right? The son of Uttara. So when Parikshit Maharaj, what did he say? He heard about Vaya Shakar iti vachas, when he heard about the instructions given by Shukadev Goswami. And what was it all about? It was all about Tattva Nishchay, which was all about the Supreme Personality, the absolute truth. So when he heard about it, he could focus his mind on Krishna. See? So that is the power of hearing it from the right source. When you hear it from the right source, you have that effect. So Parikshit Maharaj also tells, to Shukadev Goswami, you are free from all the material attachments and everything. Therefore, when you narrated it, when your instructions, he could perceive it. And Parikshit Maharaj had already seen the Lord when he was in his mother's womb, right? And he was, that is why the name Parikshit given to him, and he was always in search of that Supreme Lord, right? So here we see that Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard from a pure devotee, right, he got that realization. So always when we hear about the glories, we should know that it should be from a proper source. I've always said that this was the instruction given when we were studying our Bhakti Vaiva. Our hearing should be always in a smart way. So our facilitator, His Grace Damodar Prabhu, he had given us this acronym, SMART. I had told this in various lectures also. Our hearing should always be in a smart way. SMART is an acronym, S-M-A-R-T, where S stands for, if anybody remembers that, S stands from the source. Whatever we hear, we should know that it should be from a proper source. It should be through a parampara. We should not hear from anything Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, right? If you hear from not from an authorized source, it because it is just like a milk that is touched with a poisonous serpent. It will result in our suicide, spiritual suicide. So hear it from a right source and in a sequential way. That is then mood. The mood with which we hear, we should hear it with submission. We should SM. A is attention and in the association of the devotees. We should hear it attentively and in the association. And that hearing should be regular. We should regularly have this habit of hearing. And T is hearing is not complete until and unless we teach it. We should preach it to others. So that should be our hearing. So here you understand that Parikshit Maharaj, he heard
What is T, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
T is teach. We should teach it to others. Preach it.
Okay,
Hearing is
What is M, Mataji? M.
Mood. Our mood.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you.
The mood should be the mood of submission.
Mood of submission. Okay, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It should not be in our...
In Mataji? R, sorry, R.
R is regular. We should be regular in our hearing. Our hearing should be, it is not that today our regular, as like all the devotees over here. Really, I feel blessed coming for this program, very sincere and very enthusiastic, which even keeps us moving. So that way, it should be regular. We should hear about the glories from the right source. So, Parikshit Maharaj, you see, he heard it from the right source, from the right person, and thus immediately he got that realization. And because, see, the guru, that is why here the importance of a guru. We should accept a guru from a disciplic succession. And guru is one, in Bhagavad Gita, we say that, we read, right? We say that guru is, he is the one who has realized the truth, right? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena seveya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. He has realized the truth, right? And this truth is guhyam with him. So we should serve him, and in a submissive mode, we should approach him. Then the guru will reveal to us. And with that, even it says that the guru is the one who will sow the seed of bhakti within us. And then we have to water that seed with the water of Shravanam and Kirtanam. Right? This is also the verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, which says that Mali Hana Kare Sei Bija Aropana Shravanam Kirtanam Jale Karya Shechana. We should hear from and we allow this seed to grow into a creeper, taking support, not into a plant, as a creeper, taking support of the devotees. So we see that Parikshit Maharaj, the whole Vedic, in the purport it is written that the whole Vedic adventure is to draw one's attention entirely to the lotus feet of the Lord without any direction, right? So whatever the scriptures is given, it is to take us towards the lotus feet of the Lord. So Parikshit Maharaj is in the verse it is that he is described as Satim. He was chaste. He was so fortunate. He had seen the Lord in the womb. So he naturally had that love for Krishna, right? But when he heard it from the right source, that devotional service, that love for Krishna, it ignited for him, right? And thus the natural affection for Krishna, which he had, it got strengthened, right? So a pure devotee is an Ananya Bhakta, Akinchana Bhakta, Shuddha Bhakta, Uttama Bhakta. His devotional service is Apratihata and Ahaituki, right? So we say now to be advanced in spiritual life, there are two things required. You have to be born in a devotee family and you should have a guru. Okay? So when we are doing devotional service, there is no loss in it. Even if it is incomplete, God will make the arrangement. You will be born in a devotee family and it will help you to progress. So Parikshit Maharaj, he was born and he had all the facility. He was born in a devotee family and he got a guru. A guru himself came. Shukadev Goswami came. When he saw that there is a proper listener, he came. He gave the instructions to Shukadev Parikshit Maharaj. And even Chaitanya Charitamrita also further says, right? What does he say that? It is said that a fortunate person, by the mercy of spiritual master and the Lord Krishna, achieves the part of devotional service. Which verse is this?
Guru Kripa, something Mataji, Beach, Bhakti Lata Beach.
Yes. Yeah. So Brahmande Brahmite
Kona
Bhagavan ji.
Guru Krishna Kripa Paye
Bhakti Lata Beach.
Bhakti Lata Beach. See, they are said to be Bhagyavan, the one who gets this seed. So we should always take the advantage, we should never take it very lightly. This is the most precious thing which we get. We should try to water it with our Shravanam and Kirtanam. So this is, can somebody read this? The highlighted part. Yes, Tilo's iPhone is written. The name is not written.
Yeah, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Tilottama Mataji.
Tilottama, okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. In the beginning, in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita, it is said that a fortunate person, by the mercy of the spiritual master and Lord Krishna, achieves the path of devotional service. This was perfectly applicable in the case of Maharaja Parikshit. By way of being born in family of devotees, he automatically came in touch with Krishna, and after being so contracted, they constantly remembered him. Consequently, Lord Krishna gave the king a further chance for development in the devotional service by introducing him to Sukadeva Goswami, a stalwart devotee of the Lord with perfect knowledge in self-realization, and by hearing from a bona fide spiritual master, he was perfectly able to concentrate his just mind further upon Lord Krishna as a matter of course. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So this, during one of our Mangalarti, the story was from Chaitanya Charitamrita itself. The story was told to us, when you hear where they say that even with the association of a pure devotee, not only humans, the animals also, it was telling a story of this dog, where many of you all must have heard it. I'll just repeat it. Shivananda Sena. If you remember, his job was he would take the devotees on a pilgrimage, to Jagannath Puri, and he would make all the arrangements for it to take them. So one day this dog was there. He, along with the devotees, he also accompanied. So Shivananda Sen thought that okay, must be some karma. This dog also wanted. No problem. I will help this dog also to take on this pilgrimage. So in the journey, they had to cross a river. So the boatman over there said, I will take only the devotees. I will not take this dog. I do not take animals in my boat. So to cross that river, the cost was 1 anna. So Shivananda Sena, what he did, he bribed that boatman. He gave 10 times. And he said, please, you take this dog also. Okay, and then he said okay, and then they took the dog. They crossed the river, and then there was a halting point over there. So there they halted before proceeding to Jagannath Puri. But Shivanand Sena, he was caught up with some work, so he couldn't reach on time. And when he went, he told his servant to take care of the devotees as well as this dog also. So when Shivanand Sena came late at night, he asked his servant, did you feed that dog? So he said, oh, I just forgot about it. Then he said, no, how it can be? Go and search for him. When the servant went to search, the dog was missing. Shivanand Sena, he was really very sad, and he also did not eat. He said, I was not able to serve him, kind of. And then morning came, and they proceeded for the journey. And when they reached Jagannath Puri, and when they saw that this dog was sitting next to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was giving him that pulp of the tender coconut, to that dog, and he was asking the dog to say Hare Krishna, to take the names of the Lord. And then the next day, the devotees, they did not find him anywhere. So it is said that the dog was in the association. The dog also got liberation. So you see the power of hearing and associating with the pure devotees of the Lord. If a dog can get liberation, then this human form which we got, it is very rare. So we should take the maximum advantage of this human form, associate with the devotees, hear about the glories of mind, and this will help us to control our mind. In this Kali Yuga, for us, it is chanting, right? So we should chant controlling our mind. So I'll just read the translation given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura. He says that in the 4th chapter, Shukadev Goswami, being asked by Parikshit, describes about the creation through the conversation of Brahma and Narada after offering respect to his Guru Krishna. Hearing words from which he could discern the truth about the soul, he particularly concentrated his mind, which was always thinking about Krishna, because he was the son of Uttara. And from the time that Krishna entered her womb to save him, he remembered Krishna. Therefore, he is called Satim Matim, can mean undeviating mind. So thus, we should concentrate on the glories of Krishna, control our mind, and take up our process of chanting. So you see, ISKCON is doing such a great work. They are empowering the devotees to become pure Vaishnavas, and they are sending them across the entire world to preach this message of Krishna, distributing prasadam and taking the responsibility to enlighten all. So this was about controlling of mind. So we go further to the second verse. Chandana Kishore Mataji, you can recite.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Atmajaya Sutagara Pashudravina Bandhushu Rajye cha Vikale Nityam Virudha Mamatam Jahau. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Is there anybody else who would like to take up the translation? You can raise your hand.
Mataji.
Yes, Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Maharaja Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted affection for his personal body, his wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses and elephants, his treasury house, his friends and relatives, and his undisputed kingdom. Thank you, Mataji.
Yes. So you see, he could, in the earlier verse, it was like Upadharya Matim Krishna. He was focusing his mind onto the lotus feet of the Lord. And before that, he renouncing, he giving up all the wealth, opulence, family, friends, relatives, kingdom, everything, right? He renounced. And renouncing, he would control. That is, renouncing means we should understand that from our aspect, that detachment, from detaching ourselves and concentrating our mind. During Damodar Aarti and all, when we would go to various houses, that time there was this Mataji who was telling that I like to hear about him, but I'm very scared because I have heard and I've seen also the people who take up Krishna conscious and all, who are too attached, they lose everything, they lose their prosperity. That was the fear she had. So that is why she was scared to take up Krishna consciousness. So we can understand that people are so ignorant because they do not take up the hearing process. Whereas what Bhagavad Gita 6.4, what does it say? Suchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bijayate. That means if suppose in your process you fall down also, then even then you will be born for your further advancement. You will be given an opportunity. You will be born in a family of a rich, wherein you do not worry about your livelihood. And then, or you will be born in a pure Brahmana family, isn't it? So you see, Parikshit Maharaj, Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri, he had everything, born in a very good family, with full of opulence, proper education, wealth, there was no. But then he was in a renounced order. He was free from the Dehatma Buddhi, free from the illusory attachment. Right? So here, can somebody read this? 1 minute. Yeah, to maintain. Hare Krishna, Medhavani Mataji.
Mataji.
Can read.
To maintain all the household affairs, one has to increase the bank balance and be careful without the treasury house. And in order to display the opulence of material assets, one has to keep good relation with friends and relatives, as well as become very careful about maintaining the status quo. This is called material civilization of material attachment. Devotion for Lord Krishna means negation of all material attachment as detailed above. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaja Parikshit was awarded all material amenities and an undisputed kingdom in which to enjoy the undisturbed position of king. But by the grace of the Lord, he was able to give up all connection with material attachment. This is the position of pure devotee. Maharaja Parikshit, due to his natural affection for Lord Krishna as the devotee of the Lord, was always executing his royal duties on behalf of the Lord. And as the responsible king of the world, he has always careful to see that the influence of Kali would not enter his kingdom. A devotee of the Lord never thinks of his household paraphernalia as his own, but surrenders everything for the survival of the Lord. Therefore, living entities under a devotee's care get the opportunity for God realization by the management of the devotee master. Hare Krishna.
So we see that how, to maintain, we are working hard to earn money, right? And then to show off, what do? We make friends. So this is called material civilization. But here we see how Parikshit Maharaja, he utilized everything in the service of the Lord, right? So there is one, in Prabhupada's lecture, there is one story which Prabhupada says that there was when saintly persons visits, right? When Guru Maharaj and all will come, we will run to take blessings from him. Before us, we will keep our children, right? We feel that they should get the blessings from Guru Maharaj so that they can advance. So similarly, Prabhupada says that in the story that there was a saintly person who visited a kingdom. Okay, so the king, he got a son. Then there was this Muni who got his son. Then there was another saintly person. He also got his son. And then the hunter. Okay, so the saintly person who was visiting that kingdom, he when the king's son came to him, he blessed him saying, Chiranjeevi, right? Chiranjeevi Bhava, like you live for long. Okay, and then when the Muni's son took blessings, he gave the benediction that you do not live, you die, right? He said, Muni Putra Ma Jiva. Okay, he said that you do not live long, but you die. Then when the saintly person came, the other saintly person got his son. So he said that either you die or you live. It is the same. And then when the hunter came with his son, the saintly person said, you don't live, you don't die. Right? So the explanation given was that when the king's son came, right, for the blessing, the saintly person blessed him saying Chiranjeevi. That is, you live long in this life. So the understanding what Prabhupada gives here, that he is involved in so much of sense gratification, right? Woman, wine, and for his sense gratification, he is accepting or doing various activities which is not prescribed, which is not as per the Vedas or not to be done. So as a result of this, he is actually incurring sins. So if he dies, he has to undergo that hellish condition of life. So he gave the blessing that you live in this material world because you are a king, you enjoy, right? And then for the Muni Putra, and we know that Munis are always engaged in doing tapasyas, various austerities. So the son also is doing, along with the family, doing various austerities. So he is accumulating various pious karma. So he said that you do not live because you will have to enjoy the activities of your various karma. So you die. That you do not live for long. But for a saintly person who is working on a spiritual platform, right? Who is Krishna consciousness. For him, whether he live here or he die, it is the same, because he is in a balanced state. Therefore, he said, either you live, either you die. It is because he's always thinking about, and his propensity is to serve. Whereas for the hunter's son, because he is now doing abominable duty, he is doing sinfully, he is dying over here, as well as in the after death also he will be getting a hellish planet life. So that is why he was given the benediction that you don't live, neither you die. So we understand that whenever we are taking the path of Krishna consciousness, it is along the path of light. And when it is not along the path of Krishna, we are accepting the path of darkness, right? So here, in giving the example of Yudhishthir Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada is saying that a householder like him should turn everything towards the light. How? We have to dovetail all our activities towards serving Krishna, right? We have to detach ourselves. Whatever we do, anasaktasya vishayan yataharam upayanjite, nirbande Krishna sambande yukta vairagya muchyate. This is the proper way of renunciation. Renouncing means detaching ourselves. So one more story which was told to us during our course is that there was this Buddhist guru. To him, his disciple came, and the disciple was asking the guru that please tell me a way how to get detached, detached from this material desires, detachment. So the guru said, okay, I will tell you, give me some time. After some time, the disciple heard this guru screaming out, help me, help me. So the disciple panicked. He said, what happened? And he ran over to see. And he saw that this guru was holding on to a tree, hugging the tree tightly. And he was telling, free me from this tree. Detach me from this, from this tree. So the guru's disciple went and told to the guru, Guru, you are hugging on to it, right? You let it go. You let it go. So the guru said, yes. This is way how the detachment should be. You were asking me how to get detached, right? From the let it go. You should not. This is our perception, right? We are clinging on to our family, our friends, our nation, our workplace. Right? It doesn't mean that we should not. We should fulfill our responsibility, but always we should have that detachment. Use it. How detaching is? Do not use it for your sense gratification. Use it for the nirbande Krishna sambande. Use it for, because if we just let go, that means it can be a type of a negation. But in Krishna conscious, what we will do? Not let going, using that in the favor of Krishna, using it for the purpose of Krishna. So here one must, it is said that give up all the material connection before, this is about, one must seriously hear Srimad Bhagavatam, so that one day, like Parikshit Maharaj, from a fit person like Sukadev Goswami, we will also be able to lose all the affinity for the material things. So Krishna conscious moment is not about negation of material life, but freeing from the material desire. It should be Anya Abhilashita Shunyam. It should be our activities should be favorable, okay, Anukulena, as per how, and without any expectations, right? So in that way, we will gain blissful eternal life, thus following the footsteps of the Acharya. Like how a child fully depends on his father, similarly, we should be dependent upon our Guru. Our Guru will guide us to Krishna. So to take Srimad Bhagavatam as a means of maintaining family expenditure is the grossest type of Nama Aparadha, offense at the feet of the Lord. Okay, you should hear it from a right source, so that we get detachment from this material world. And means detachment should be Yukta Vairagya, right? Detach it and use it, dovetail it for the service of Krishna. That is what the second. So here we see Parikshit Maharaj, first he could focus his mind, detaching himself from all the attachments, from the family relationships, friends, the kingdom responsibilities of a kingdom, and his wealth, his prosperity, everything he detached once he got the correct instructions from the right source. This is about the second verse. So we go on to the third verse. Hare Krishna Medhavani Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam.
Pranams Mataji. Mataji, the third and fourth verse.
Yes, Mataji. Paprichache. Mataji, 1 second. I've just logged in from the mobile also. It's echoing. Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Paprichache mamevartham yanmam prichata sattamah Krishnanubhava Shravane Shraddhadhanu Mahamanah Samstham Vijnaya Sanyasya Karma Traivargikam Chayat Vasudeve Bhagavati Atma Bhavam Dridham Gataha. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pranams Mataji. Vasudha Mataji, the translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Translation, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O great sages, the great soul Maharaj Parikshit constantly wrapped in thought of Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sorts of fruitive activities, namely acts of religion, economic development and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna, and asked all these questions exactly as you are asking me. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So here it says that hearing from a right source, you will develop Krishnanubhava, right? And then Krishnanubhava Shravane, when you hear it, Shraddhadano Mahan, when you hear it from the right source, from a right person, you will develop the Krishnanubhava. And further it says that at the time of death, right, Samstham Vijna Sannyasa, at the time of the death, this Traivargyam, that is the Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, all this is of no values. Okay, so you have to, taking the advantage of the Guru, hearing it from the right source, you can develop firm, thus doing Vasudeve Bhagavata Atma Bhavam Dridam Gatha. The Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard the instructions from Shukadev Goswami, from the right source, he could detach himself and fixed his mind, and thus he could, Vasudeve Bhagavata Atma Bhavam. See here it is that thus he could fix himself firmly in the natural love for Krishna. That is what Vasudeve Bhagavati Atma Bhavam. That attraction, that natural love became more firmly fixed. And thus further he asked various questions. That is, we'll see in the further classes where there he is asking about the creation. Further he asked about the creation. So here it is that as you hear, your love for, natural love for Krishna is there for everyone. But when you hear it, like Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard it from the right source, he could focus his mind, he could renounce in a proper way, and thus his natural love of Krishna became more firm. That is, and now let us understand through the purport of Prabhupada, what Prabhupada wants us to understand in this. So here we see that people have attachment, right? Everybody, Dharma, Artha, Kama, right? Where they do various ritualistic activities. For what? It is for their sense gratification, right? For their artha, for money, and to fulfill their sense gratification. So, taking up religious activities for sense gratification, we have to, this is all people who are following as per the scripture, Dharma, Artha, Kama. But now, it is said as karma kandi. In the purport, it is Prabhupada says that these are the karma kandi activities. That is, you are following a regulated way. But the only thing is, you are doing it for your sense gratification. you're earning money. But now in this godless civilization, right, in this modern world, what people are doing, they are not following any scriptures or anything. They are not following the regulated way. They are doing it as they please. They will accept any means only for kama and artha, for money and for their sense gratification. There is no dharma in it. It is, but Prabhupada further says that this what do you call, dharma, artha, kama, all this at the time of death, it has no value. There is nothing. It does not. What is important is at the time of death is when we remember God. When we remember the glories, the holy name of the God, that will help us in further. But all this, what we have accumulated, will not help. As dharma, what does dharma means? Now in this present world, when we ask people dharma, they will say, it is a faith, like I'm Christian, I'm Hindu, I'm Muslim, that is what. But actually, what is dharma? What do we understand when we say dharma? It is our
Religion
dharma.
is love to God.
Krishna
Mataji.
seva.
We can understand
Following the
God.
principles of Krishna, Mataji.
Mataji, service to Krishna is our dharma.
Laws of God, Mataji.
Yeah. Any verse you can
Humanity.
any verse you can think about?
Humanity.
सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य
जीवेर स्वरूप है
नित्यदास.
That is our dharma, right? We are servants. And we are the das. We are the Krishna das. But we have forgotten that, and we have become das to this material world, right? That is our that should, because there is only one enjoyer. Ekale Ishvara Krishna. There is only one enjoyer, and rest all are das. We have to, but we are that propensity, that dharma, that characteristics we have of a servant. So, but we are serving the wrong person, wrong object. We have to serve the Lord. Here we see that Parikshit Maharaj, he was following the regulations of Vedic Karma Kandya to run his kingdom. But at the same point, he was fixed. He had the love for Krishna because he had seen Krishna in the womb of his mother. That is why when he heard from Shukadev Goswami the instruction, it was very easy for him to renounce everything and fix his mind on the Lord. And Prabhupada says in the purport that, and that position which he got, that jnanis get after birth, after various birth, they get that position. Which say bahunam janmana nante jnanamam mam prapadyate vasudeva sarva itim sa mahatma sudurlabha. That Mahatma, that is why in the verse he is described as Mahatmahan. That Parikshit Maharaj was equivalent to that Mahatma who realized that Vasudeva Sarva Itim. Even after doing so much of study activities and studies, there are very few, who will understand that it is Krishna. Vasudeva is everything. So he is compared to that Mahatma. So, and then further, Prabhupada in this purport, he has given examples of various such Mahatmas who has given up everything and has taken up Krishna consciousness. So in that, Prabhupada gives examples of Sikshashtagam. One by one, we can, if not the verses, at least the translation which is given, we can. Hari Bol?
Shall I, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Only translation, Mataji, not the shloka.
And if you can read the Sikshashtagam, this is very...
Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtumam adarshanan varmahatam karotu va yata tata va vidadatu lampato mat prananatastu saivana para. Lord Krishna, who is the lover of many devotees, women, may embrace this fully surrendered maidservant, or may trample me with his feet, or he may render me broken-hearted by not being present before me for a long duration of time. But still he is nothing less than the absolute Lord of my heart. Hare Krishna.
Here we see this is the mode of a devotee, where Chaitanya, the Lord himself, has come into the mode of Radharani to experience that love, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yesterday in our Vaishnava Bhajan class, Sri Gopi Mataji gave us such a beautiful analogy which where she's saying, I think if somebody remembers that, where she said that Radharani is compared to the sun, Krishna is compared to the ocean, and that Radharani, the sun, what does it do? It evaporates the water, right? And that she is evaporating, she's taking the love of Krishna, which is coming in the form of those vapors, and these vapors which accumulate, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that cloud, it condenses, and when in the form of rain, and when that rain falls on a fertile land, right? If it falls, Mataji was saying, falls on a barren land or a sandy desert, it has no effect. But when it falls on a fertile land, that land was compared to Rupa Goswami, and that from that land, the seeds, they sprout into trees, and that tree, and it gives grains. She said that, and that grain is Srila Prabhupada, and that tree, the branches of the tree were compared to the Rupa Manjaris. So you see that that is how this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is giving us this love, the prema, he is distributing this prema. And this is the mood of a pure devotee, where he's telling you, do anything, whatever you want, you can do. Whereas so many of us, we say, once we came into Krishna consciousness, I'm having difficulties, the problems are coming more and more. But a pure devotee, he said, you can do whatever you want, you can do, right? But you can trample me with your feet also, no problem. But never I will leave the lotus feet of your heart, because he's so much surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Further, Rupa Goswami. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Srila Rupa Goswami spoke thus: Virachaya mayi dadam dina bandho daya mayi va gatir ihama na bhavatha kachid ananya mamasti nipata anya mamasti nipatatu sata koti nirbharam va navambaha tad api kila payodha stuyate chatakena. Hare Krishna. O Lord of the poor, O Lord of the poor, do what you like with me. Give me either mercy or punishment. But in this world, I have none to look to except your lordship. The Chataka bird always prays for the cloud, regardless of whether it showers rain or throws a thunderbolt. Hare Krishna.
We know about Rupa Goswami also, right? We are Rupanugas, right? We follow his instruction. We all know that how he was, he had converted, he was in the court of Nawab Hussain, holding such high positions. But even then, when he got the association, when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they renounced everything. And they were following the instructions, installing deities, giving us the bhakti yoga, uncovering all the pastimes of Krishna, right? And one pastime where I read, it was Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhajana Kutir, there was one Tera Kadamba, in Vrindavan it is there, when he used to recite about the the separation of Krishna, the Kadamba tree would shed all its leaves, as if in crying in separation. And when he would talk about the union of Radha and Krishna, new leaves sprouts out from the tree. So you see how great, how deep they are in their devotional service. So we should hear and we should serve these acharyas, and how we can serve them is by reading their scriptures, the messages, the instructions they have left for us. Further about Madhavendra Puri. Medhavani Mataji, you can recite.
Yes, Mataji. Sandhya Vandana Badrumastu Bhagato Bhosnana Tubhyam Namo Bodhevapi Karascha Tarpana Vidho Naham Kshamaksham Yatam Yatra kvapi nishadya yadhava kulo uttamasya kamsadvishah. Smaram smaram agam harami tad alam manye kim anyena me. Oh my Hare Krishna Mataji. Oh my evening prayer, all good unto you. Oh my morning bath, I bid you goodbye. Oh demigods and forefathers, please excuse me. I am unable to perform any more offerings for your pleasure. Now I have decided to free myself from all reactions to sins simply by remembering anywhere and everywhere the great descendant of Yadu and the great enemy of Kamsa, Lord Krishna. I think that this is sufficient for me. So what is the use of further endeavors? Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, the further verse also, Mataji.
Okay. Yeah. Mugdham mam nigadantu nitu nipuna bhrantam muhurvaidika mandam bandhava sanchaya jadadiyam muktadhara sodhara unmattam danino viveka chatura kamam mahadhambikam moktum na shamate managapi mano govinda padaspruham. I'll read the translation also, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Let the sharp moralist accuse me of being illusioned. I do not mind. Experts in Vedic activities may slander me as being misled. Friends and relatives may call me frustrated. My brothers may call me a fool. The wealthy Mammonites may point me out as mad. And the learned philosophers may assert that I'm too much proud. I'm much too proud. Still, my mind does not budge an inch from the determination to serve the lotus feet of Govinda, though I be unable to do it. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So we see that through the examples of the various great acharyas, how they are dependent totally on Krishna. So Madhavendra Puri also, Srila Madhavendra Puri also, you know, he is said to be like a desired tree, and onto that tree, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is said to be the fruit, you know, who is giving us the honey of Krishna Prema. He is said to be the epitome of Krishna Prema. So taking their footsteps, we should try to understand further about Prahalad Maharaj also. Is there anyone who could recite this?
Hare Krishna Mataji, may I Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Also Prahalad Maharaj said, Dharmartha Kama iti yo bihitas trivarga iksha trai nayadamau vividha cha varta manye tat etan akhilam nigamshya satyam swatmarpanam swa suhrida paramasya pumsa. Translation. Religion, economic development and sense gratification celebrated as three means of attaining the path of salvation. Of these, Iksha Trai, especially that is knowledge of the self, knowledge of fruitive acts and logic, and also politics and economics are different means of livelihood. All these are different subjects of Vedic education, and therefore I consider them temporary engagements. On the other hand, surrendering unto the Supreme Lord Vishnu is a factual gain in life, and I consider it the ultimate truth. Bhagavad Gita 7, Bhagavatam, no Mataji. 7.6.26. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Should I continue, Mataji?
No, Mataji, this would be. So here we understand that Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, right? You know, these are what it is saying, they are all temporary arrangements. But surrendering to the Supreme Lord, liberation, the perfection of liberation is surrendering onto the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the ultimate perfection of liberation, and that is what is considered. This is what Prahalad Maharaj is telling, and that is he is considered as the ultimate truth. So giving these various examples, we understand that anything that is material, it cannot be absolute. Absolute is spiritual. So we see that anything we do on a material platform, right? We see there is a master and a servant, right? We are serving one and another. But here, the servant is always unhappy because the master does not reciprocate. But in spirituality, no. Both of us, the servant as well as the master, it says that you take one step, Krishna will come and help you out. So therefore, it is the on material platform. We say, are we happy serving family, job, country? Because we know that they are all temporary. After some time, it is followed by unhappiness, right? So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says that to Arjun, Traigunya Vishayan Veda Nishtraigunya Bhava Arjuna. Give up all this and Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshemam Atmavan, right? Free from all these dualities and establish in oneself, right? So work for Krishna, work in the mode of Krishna consciousness. That is the way where you can remain happy. So when our dharma, our occupation, right, is not, if it does not arouse Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga, no, not that. There is one verse which says that Dharma Swanishtaha Pumshan Vikshvakshena Katasuyaha Not Utpadyate Yadi Ratim Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. Whatever occupational you do, if it does not arouse the love for Krishna, it is just Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. It is waste of time. It does not bring any good. So therefore, it is in this verse, it is said Vasudeva Bhagavatam Atma Bhavam Dridam Gata. Hearing from this right source, Parikshit Maharaj, he became more firm. The natural love for his the Supreme Lord, it became more fixed, right? Therefore, it is Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, the son of Vasudev. He is the Supreme Bhagavati. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the process is hear from the right source, fix our mind, and accept the process that has been prescribed for this Kali Yuga. We should be Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. There should be one point focus. So the whole matter is concluded in Bhagavad Gita as Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, or the absolute path of perfection. Sri Baladev Vidyabhushana, a great Vaishnava philosopher, defines this as Bhagavad Archana Rupaika Nishkama Kamabhi Vishuddha Chitva. Accepting transcendental loving service to the Lord is the prime duty, free from all fruitive action. So Maharaja Parikshit was perfectly right when he firmly accepted the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, renouncing all karma kandya activities. So this today we saw 4 verses. First is focus. Parikshit Maharaj concentrated his mind on Krishna after taking instructions from Shukadev Goswami, because his words that discerned the truth, because those were establishing the truth, Tattva Nishchaya Atmanaha. Then he could detach. Thus he completely gave up all deep-rooted affection for his body, wife, son, house, animal, wealth, friends, and kingdom. And thus he could renounce. He renounced everything, including dharma, artha, kama, and being fixed in his natural love for Krishna, he further inquired from Shukadev Goswami. That is all about this 4 verses. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Mataji, one question, Mataji. The Madhavendra Puri shlokas, what you have pasted in document, from where?
It is all in the purport, Mataji. These are the examples given by Srila Prabhupada in the purport.
Okay.
So, it is all in that purport. The 3rd and 4th verse, very important. Just go through that purport.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very wonderful session. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Yeah.
Any
questions or comments?
Mataji, I have a question.
Yeah, Mataji, go ahead.
Mataji, you said that we should hear from the right source who comes from a parampara disciplic succession. So there is one Mataji who is very knowledgeable, and she is taking a Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam classes. So I am also attending some of her classes, but she is not initiated devotee, and she doesn't come from a parampara disciplic succession, but she has read Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita classes. So is it right to attend her classes? Or
Mataji just said that we should we are just like a postman, we deliver what is there written by our scriptures, because we are like that. If you go to see, there are so many translations for Bhagavad Gita given by various scholars. So, but the God reveals it through his devotees, right? So that is why it is said that it should be through a parampara, because it is not contaminated. It is as it is. That is why you see ours is Bhagavad Gita as it is. It is handed over from a guru to a disciple without any contamination. That is why it is said that we should read the Bhagavad Gita commentaries written by a devotee. So based on this, you can decide upon Mataji. It should be because whatever we say, whatever we give, this is not our speculation or our thinking. It is what has been given by the acharyas, because we are full of the four kind of what do you get what do you say, we cannot we have a loss of memory, right? Our senses are not well. Four defects we have, Mataji. So that is what we say. No, we should. Lord is apaurishaya, whatever without any defect. Right? So whatever he has said to his devotees, it has to be followed through that parampara. So therefore, there are four authorized parampara, right? Yeah. So we should see whenever. That's what they say. No, hear it from a right source and from a right. So if she is following the books of the acharyas, even though not initiated, if she is following the book of the acharyas, not giving any mental speculation, just relaying that message, what is given, then it is okay.
Then it is fine, right?
Yeah, you should. That is what Mataji. We have to analyze it. What whether she is following Bhagavad Gita as it is, because there are so many commentaries given, Mataji. That is why Prabhupada, he took the effort, even though at that prime age, he was more concentrating, hardly sleeping for 2 hours, giving the translation so that we get the right message, right instruction. In a concise form, everything has been given to us. So if that is followed, that is what we have to
say. She follows it, and she also attends the classes that my Siksha Guru gives us, who comes from a disciplic succession. So she is delivering the message as it is about Krishna only. So it is fine to attend her classes, right?
Yes, yes, Mataji. It is in a proper, you have to evaluate it and take up the decision accordingly.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. I have one more personal question, because I have asked many Matajis, like one Mataji says something, the other Mataji says something, especially during a menstruational cycle. So like some says you should not attend classes in the sense face-to-face classes also. Kirtan you should not join. Some Mataji says no, it is fine to, because Lord is seated in a heart. It's okay, you should go there and listen to the classes. Kirtan also it's fine, but you should not touch the deities and Aarti and Parikrama and all that stuff. So who should I listen to?
You can listen.
What is the scripture says, Mataji? So
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day, every time, every moment, you can hear about the glories of the Lord. There is no harm in glories of the Lord. Okay, but at the altar, yeah, as per our this, we can follow. But then hearing, there is no restriction in chanting the holy names, hearing the scriptures. There is no restriction in that much.
Okay, and prasad also we can consume, right? There is no
yes,
problem.
Yes,
but we should not cook and offer it to Lord. That is prohibited.
You can. You have deities in the kitchen. There are so many things which we can do. You can offer it when nobody is there at home. You cannot just leave the Lord like that. You have to serve him, right? So that's why we have deities in the kitchen. Kitchen is the second temple wherein we offer it to the Lord. Maybe not the altar. If you cannot do it, you can ask somebody else to do it. You have to. You should eat prasad.
No one does it at my home, Mataji, because Krishna conscious. It's only me who have taken it, so it is my job. So no one is interested, and kids are very, very young, so they don't know how to.
Yes, at a very young age is the prime right age, Mataji, where you can inject this Krishna consciousness into them. They will take it very in a right way. So it is there that you can you do not have the right to be called a father and the mother if you cannot deliver the children along the right path. So you should take it up. That is what we should set our priorities. We should have the firm faith This has to be done, so we should take it up. So when a child is diseased, Mataji, when we have to give antibiotic and all, it is so bitter, it is so difficult, right, to give them. So what we do, we adopt various means, put it in juice, put honey, some or the other, we give it to the child because we want the child to be relieved of that disease. Similarly, we are in this material world diseased, and the only medicine for this disease condition is chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So by all means, we should imbibe this.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you so much
Hare
for your
Krishna.
wonderful explanation, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I'm having a doubt. Why we are called Rupanugas? Total 6 Goswamis are there. Why we are called only Rupanugas?
We are following the footstep of Rupa Goswamis. That is why we are called Rupanugas. The various scripture, like the nectar of devotion, we are following that path. That is why we are called Rupa.
But Jiva Goswami, these all people also.
Yes, Jiva Goswami is also. Jiva Goswami gives us the proper understanding, more elaborately about the the scriptures written by Rupa Goswami. So they are all along the same path, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, a question, Mataji. Why Krishna established just 4 parampara in the Bharat Bhumi? The world is huge, so many continents, but there's only 4 parampara within this Bharat Bhumi. That is one question. Second, Mataji, in a particular parampara, there is a split in the parampara also. So, I mean, how do you know which one, whether we need to follow which version? They split it. I mean, you know, right? There are parampara, they are split in 2 or 3 way, and then together they are fighting, something like that. I heard. So, I mean, how can we understand that, which one is correct? Although they are following the same Acharya, the path is leading to Krishna, but there is a split. So similarly, we are saying that we should not be, worshipping demigods. Demigod is worship is also going, and I mean, when we are worshipping demigod, it is also connecting to the Krishna. So there is a lot of confusion, Mataji. I have this confusion. I read Bhagavad Gita, but still I'm having this kind of confusion. So please guide me.
Sampradaya, Prabhuji, it is not Krishna who made this. It is Chaturvarnya Maya Shrishtam Guna Karma Vigan. This is that a social order that has been, that is Krishna has himself said, Chaturvarnya Maya Shrishtam. And then the Sampradaya, Krishna has given this message to 4, and they are propagating it, right? Through Brahma, through Sri Sampradaya, through the 4 Kumaras, through Shiva. And then they are propagating. He has given the instructions to the 4, and they are propagating it further. And then further we see that when there was Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajarshi Guru. So it is going from the disciplic succession to the kings, and then to the what is called the subjects of that kingdom, right? But when then there was a break in that flow, then Krishna again told it to Arjuna. Right. So this is how it is. We have to understand. And then demigod worship, we say that even in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, right? It is avidhi purvakam. It is not the direct process. It is the indirect process. It is like you can water the plant by watering the root, right? If you concentrate on watering the leaves, the branches, the demigods are the limbs of the Lord. So when you water the root, automatically you are pleasing everyone. So like you can understand that like the government, that is also the example given, right? The Prime Minister cannot have his observation in all the departments. So every department has got a officer who will look after it. But at this, like a king, if for example, the king cannot manage everything. So he has appointed ministers who will manage it. But that doesn't mean that you have to forget about the king. You're only serving the ministers who are managing it. So that is for the less intelligent people who wants everything very quick. So they feel that you ask for that particular demigod, you will get it. But then when you take up Krishna consciousness, everything is included in it. This is my understanding. If there is anybody else who can add to it, can please do so. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. Chintamani Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. For example, Rudra Sampradaya, Shiva Sampradaya, right, Mataji? It's coming from Shivaji. So the people in India, I mean, in the world also, they worship Shiva, or maybe his wife Durga, right? So, I mean, there are a lot of devotees, more than Krishna devotee, we have Shiva's devotee. And we, in Krishna consciousness, no, we don't prefer to worship Shiva like we do for Krishna. Why, what is wrong in the teaching of Shiva that, no, it is not connecting to Krishna, we are thinking it is a demigod. I mean, why Shiva could not convince his devotee that, when you are worshipping me, it is like you're worshipping Krishna. Those people don't know. They think, okay, Shiva is only the prime God. So they don't think that it is a Krishna. And just like Prabhupada is teaching us, we are also worshipping Prabhupada, but he's connecting us to Krishna and directly. Everyone knows that in Krishna consciousness, it is everything about Krishna. But when people are worshipping Shiva, they don't know, right? So they are not directly connected to Krishna. And we are denying it, and we are not saying that we are saying don't worship demigods. We are thinking it is a demigod, but that demigod is giving us Krishna association. But why? Where is the disconnection, Mataji? For example, in the Shiva Rudra Sampradaya, for example.
There is in none of the sampradayas have got any defect. It is the people who are not taking it up, Prabhu. Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. Amongst all the Vaishnavas, Param is Lord Shiva, right? And amongst all the worship, Shiva himself said that the Param worship is the worship of Lord Krishna. But then those who are not accepting it, it is their, they are unfortunate. Every temple, see, if you go to see, there are so many temples. How many temples have what is followed in ISKCON? After the Aarti, they have Bhagavad Gita. Morning, we have Srimad Bhagavatam classes. Evening, we have Bhagavad Gita classes, where we are teaching the common people in general, giving them the enlightening them. Whereas the other temples, you see, where is that being held? If that is being told, the end of it is said that Vedescha Sarver Aham Eva Vedanta. It is from all the Vedas, from all the scriptures, Krishna is to be known. But everything is not following that way. So we cannot say that, oh, they are doing. We should first try to identify whether that is the right path or are they doing it in a right way. That also we have to understand. Because they do not realize, we cannot come to the conclusion that that is right and this is wrong. So first is understanding the scriptures. Whatever demigods you eat, you always see it is said that Lord Shiva is he is very pleased with whatever offering, because he is always meditating on the Supreme Lord. So maybe not in this birth, those who are the worshippers of Shiva, they will be given that enlightenment. After birth, we can understand that. This is all which I can say with my limited knowledge, Prabhu. I cannot comment more on these topics.
Thank you,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Thank you.
Answered beautifully. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Any other questions, or shall we end the session? Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Vancha kalpatarubyascha
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah Anantakoti Vaishnavi ki jai Nitai Gaur Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
to all.
Hare Krishna.
Meet again on Monday at 9:30.
Wonderful class, Mataji. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, Mataji, I'm just ending the session. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.